that we could have seen a couple of weeks ago in the Demacia Cup. That looked extremely impressive.
Yeah, it's true. If you guys missed Snake's games from Demacia Cup, I think 3 weeks ago, like, holy cow, those guys are so fun to watch. And they're fun and they win a lot of their games. I think they have like a 21-7 record in LSPL. Of course, that is mostly just because the bottom teams in LSPL are fantastically good at giving them all of those win points, sitting at things like 3-25, 9-17, like big loss scores like that. But up at the top, Snake, Energy Pacemaker, and King are your top three, no matter how you want to look at it. So hopping into game number 2, the English coverage of the Demacia Cup here on Twitch TV. I'm Rapid, I'm here with Nero. We're taking you into King, coming out in the blue side versus Edward Gaming in the red.
All right, so we are looking out for the early pressure once again from King, because that's where EDG is not really doing too well, and that's where King can come out on top. Because going up against such an experienced team, King is really going to have a hard time if they want to go for the team fight versus team fight comp. That might be really hard to pull off.
King will not be able to sweep that early ward because both teams started full warding trinkets, and that is just the same early aggressive pressure that King had in game number 1. They just straight up walk into your enemy jungle, drop 3 wards, and then they'll back out. Actually, I think this time they only dropped 2. Nope, they had 3 wards. Now they just ward up the top jungle and then they'll back out. And what this does for King early on is it says, all right, there's 1/4 of the jungle you just can't be in. So if we walk to the other one, then we at least know your jungle path off of our first buff, based on where they, what side they see you on. So this is a really big thing for King, because it will allow them to. All right, so momentary lag. Looks like it's better now. 121, 122, still in there. So King ward up the jungle. They know where the starts are going to be, and now all they have to do is find EDG before the game starts. And looks like JS has already done that in the mid lane by scouting out you and Clearlove.
Okay, so still no big things happening right here.
Oh, but look at this. It's kind of the yin-yang start with EDG going for the late invade on King's red buff, because that's the side that they warded up. And King are actually going to go for a slightly laggy invade onto the blue buff. Apologies for some of the desyncing issues. Should be able to get this running in just a second. And there we go. 159-2.
Okay, so well, I'm still just looking at this Name Kog'Maw. If he gets shut down in the lane once again, of course there's Braum, so the stun is there, but it's not as immediate as the stun from Alistar. So they're gonna have a little bit of a worse time, but still they might really win this fight in the bots. So King definitely looking for things to happen in the bottom lane.
I'm really glad we have standard lanes, or at least that's the way that the Chinese meta is shifting back away from the 4v0 or the 2v1 starts that used to be very common about 2 or 3 months ago. So still having to deal with a few minor lag issues. See if we can get the buffer running one moment. Still trying to get this game back underway. Apologies for the lag. Like I said, apparently things are just dying all over the place. So looks like it's back. Success. I did that myself, by the way. Internet caster wizardry at its finest. But we didn't miss too much. What I was talking about is the 2v2s mean that we get to see like identical lane matchups without having to compensate for being super far behind from a 2v1. And that means you can directly compare LSPL side laners to, or solo laners to LPL solo laners. And this is really cool because, like I said, this is the great thing about the Demacia Cup. You don't get to see these LSPL versus LPL matchups all the time.
Yeah, and actually LSPL is so hyped up. The previous split, it was all about World Lead Academy and actually Young Glory. And they were in the LPL the previous season, so that's okay. Now it is all about the King and Snake hype. And of course Energy Peacemaker. And this time around it's actually proving to be true.
All right, making sure that we were both synced up. So still at 340, and it's having a few technical difficulties in case you couldn't tell. But the difficulties that arose early on for Edward Gaming in game number 1 were primarily top lane, where Sky just straight up outlaned Koro. Like, Koro didn't know which way was up. He died 3 times solo, and it wasn't a great place to be for him. Sky is not having quite as strong a performance just yet, but I mean, we're still only 4 minutes into the game, so there's only so much of a judgment you can make about that. So I'm actually excited to see how these early gank pressure works out early on to try to turn the tide of these matched up solo lanes, because Clearlove had no presence on the map at all on Rengar. He power farmed and it didn't really pay off, whereas Lonely, who was on Jarvan last time, is playing Rengar this time around. And I want to see his style of Rengar and see how different it is.
Okay, so the gold is still quite even. No big CS advantages on any lanes, and we don't really see too much aggression, but there is a little bit of something in the bottom lane.
Well, there will be once the stream sort of figures itself out and buffers itself back up, and it does appear as if we're getting a few frames here and there. Still experiencing some pretty significant technical difficulties, and well, nothing's going down right now, but in case you guys can't tell, the double flash is blown from King's dual lane, so big aggression, and they will lose their summoner spells for it.
Yep, they did go for the aggression, and then EDG had a little bit of an answer too, so in the end, King, they don't really pull it off too well, but they are trying, and you can see it, like they destroyed Name in the early game in the previous game, and they are trying to do this once again, but this time around it's not really working out.
All right, so might have a solution to the frame rate issues, and it does look like I'm going to be forced to enact that really quickly right here. So give me one quick moment while we look to get everything back into the game and streaming at a decent quality for everybody. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll have the stream right back up in just a second. I've paused it, so don't worry, you're not missing anything. We'll see if we can hop back in here. But yeah, the discrepancy between game number 1, it was just like an incredible early game for Snake, or I keep doing that, for King, the other good LSPL team. But hopefully we can see another strong performance, because this is exciting to watch these two clashes of the teams come up. And now we're back, so everything should be working fine and dandy here. And if it's not, then, well, we'll just have to see what we can do. So we're back, and it's 6:30, and everything looks like it's still having some minor problems. So this is somewhat unfortunate. We'll see if we can power through these, and things will get back to where they're supposed to be. But all in all, yeah, just some minor difficulties once we look to hop back into the stream. Apologies for some minor delays, but it does look like things are back for the time being.
And sometimes things like that happen. That's a regular thing already that I've learned throughout all the time that I'm casting LPL and the Demacia Cup also. But, well, should be going quite well in just a couple of seconds. But there's still no first blood, and still everyone is doing equally well. We don't have any advantages on any of the lanes.
Well, there's still a little bit paused here, waiting for the stream to catch itself back up. No issues up until this point, but apparently now things are not letting us experience the best here. Koro actually just ults the top wave to clear it out instantly so that he can push and head back to base. That's actually kind of smart. He'll have the Dragon Form most likely back up by the time that Sky gets back to lane.
Alright, so the 8th minute will be approaching, and still no first blood, no early aggression, and King, they should be going for that if they want to be successful.
All right, we're back. And yeah, like you said, going for the early aggression is something that King, not only do they have a team comp designed to do that very well, but they also have to worry about the Kog'Maw. They have to worry about the RA roam, which is still going to be there. And now they are setting up for what could be the first big turnaround. They've got Gragas top, or Gragas and Rengar top, but you can see Koro is just completely uninterested in coming back into lane without the wave being at his turret. And so he'll force Sky to come out from hiding and head back up top to push the wave in.
All right, so we are still sitting at this not much happening state of the game. And actually, I'm counting on this Gragas to start doing something, and the gank in the top might be coming.
Yeah, now Lonely is going to jump in here. He stealth through the ward, but immediately you can see Koro flashing to the other side. Oh, the Bolo misses, and now we're going to have a relatively anticlimactic period of time where we don't exactly know whether or not Koro lives or dies. Lag, of course, continuing. It's being pretty rough to deal with. Koro's pretty dead here, and he will go down, gives the kill to Sky. Start that snowball rolling.
Yep, this Gragas is getting the first blood, so finally on a good way to once again being the big thing that Sky likes to be, especially in the previous game, sitting on a 7-1 Irelia at some point and then getting even better later on.
Okay, well, the first blood is in a good place, and that really should help Sky get snowballing. It was something that worked out incredibly well for King in Game 1. And honestly, the big question mark that we have to ask ourselves is, where are the carries going to step up for EDG this game? Yu was acting really scared there, and oh no, very, very careful. I'm not sure if they saw it. No, the charm will land over the wall. Follow-up from Clear Love. Game too close. Couldn't put the ball in the brush in time, and that will be JS going down.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. They got the first blood and then they lost one, but still they're keeping themselves in the game. However, the assist onto Clear Love is going to be quite big, and you sitting on an assassin like that will also hurt King by a tiny bit. However, this Gragas, well, Sky should be going for a little bit of a tankiness, so that should be okay, and I don't think that Lonely will go for a full AD build right here either.
Yeah, he went for very early cooldown reduction boots. So those Ionian boots of Lucidity on Rengar for Lonely are actually really weird because he's not going to have any damage. He's just picking up the Madrid so he can farm it out. He's already switched over to a sweeper, and he'll have as many ults as he can throw out, but already proving to be successful once. We'll see if he can keep them successful, as we are unfortunately still having some minor stream difficulties. You look at see the game in flashes of light. The game flashes before your eyes. It's like you're dying, but not quite. Now King is going to get a big gank in the bottom lane and knock up onto Name as well, but the Lantern's too good. Countering that out, the Bolo stun or root will land. Death Sentence will not. So attempted gank is not effective. King will back off for what is a relatively unsuccessful laning phase, as they are still a little bit down in gold, not out to the same early advantage they had in Game 1.
Yeah, and that's because EDG got a dragon, but still, EDG got the dragon, so they had to go to this dragon pit and then take it down and then come back to the lane. So it's actually really surprising that King's AD carry still cannot really come out on top in CS. Of course, JS came out on top in CS, but he's playing an Orianna, so that's a fairly easy task. But still, this Corki, if he doesn't get any kills, if he doesn't get any farm, he's not really going to be too useful. And on the other hand, Name, he's going to be ramping up steadily towards this late game beastie Kog'Maw.
What I don't understand is how, like you said, Name is beastly Kog'Maw. It's not even just late game where he's beastly. He's actually ahead in CS versus a Corki. Corki, one of the highest harass-based early game AD carries. You got phosphorus bombs, Gatling guns, just auto attacks with true damage. And all of that just screams, out trade me, bro, because it's not going to happen. And somehow Name is making it happen. I don't know if he just magically went to AD carry school between games 1 and 2, but his AD carry here is looking so strong in the face of Corki, which granted is no Lucian, but still a very strong early game AD carry.
Yeah,
it appears as if there is some degree of action happening in the bottom lane, but still a little bit of lag pervasive here. The death, unfortunately, will go down. Braum getting taken out means that it is not quite the best place for Lei to be in. I believe that's Lei. There's another sub support that might be subbing in PvP, but it should be Lei down in the bottom lane with no heart. Now it's actually called down to the bottom lane for JS just to get this wave clear in because Name is putting on too much pressure.
All right, so EDG actually do get a very big early advantage. Picking up this dragon, that was okay. Picking up the 1 kill, that was okay. But now, 2 kills on their account, 1 turret, and they will be looking for this turret in the bottom lane quite soon enough. So he will get a huge gold lead right now. And as I said, Corki not doing too well in farm, not getting any kills. So definitely it's going to be a hard time for No Heart.
Yeah, he doesn't really even have any items. I guess neither one of those AD carries down bottom really do. The Braum not paying off at all. Like, ideally right now he should be engaging on Aname instead of just letting him take the turret for free. But they just let it fall. And, I mean, that's not the worst idea because you can sit back and farm as the wave pushes in further towards you. But it's the first and second turrets of the game going to EDG.
Yeah, and right now they are sitting at 2k gold advantage. Around that, they will have the timer for the second dragon that will be spawning in a couple of minutes, so they most probably will pick up this one too. So it's gonna start getting really tough for King. And even though it's not like the Clearlove's Rengar in the jungle, he's not non-stop farming. He was ganking a little bit in the early game. It still is Clearlove doing a little bit better on this Lee Sin.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that gank on mid. You can still see Sky sizably winning his top lane matchup versus Koro, but it's not nearly as bad as it was in game 1. And Koro even coming back after having gotten ganked earlier on. You can really see the difference between both games. Now, oh no, is PvP not in a great spot at all. Throws down the Glacial Fissure, gets a 3-man knockup, but does get Dragon's Raged in the end. And now even Rengar might be...
King with the support.
He does turn it right back around. Yu gets blown open, and this could be the comeback. It's a 2-for-1 so far, and oh no, JS very, very low. Kog'Maw ult might be enough to pick him off.
Sky.
But look at the back line. Sky is just destroying FZZF. Probably will pick up the kill with the barrel once the stream continues.
No, he won't because he misses, unfortunately.
He missed the barrel, hits the body slam. There you go. So, does still get it. Now he just has to escape Clearlove here. Clearlove's got the red buff, so Sky should actually be dead. He does get the slowdown. The flash body slam away, and Sky could make this one out alive. Name's still chasing, so he has the Bio-Arcane Barrage, but I don't want to give him too much credit. The Summoner heal coming out there. Clearlove looking to land the Sonic Wave. Is he going to hit it? The dodge? It's almost there. No, it's not going to happen. And Sky will go down to Koro 1.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but still King managed to get something for themselves. And there is 1 kill for no death onto Corki. So that is really good. And Sky is sitting on a 2-1, so still being a little bit ahead of Koro 1 in the top. Actually, this big chase gave the AD carry of King the time to come back and farm.
It's true. It gave him time to get some CS, get a kill, and so he's not actually sitting that far behind both AD carries with their Trinity Forces, both hitting that big power spike right now. 17 minutes, it's a great time to have it, and it should set up very nicely for this Dragon, which you can already see EDG positioning for.
Oh yes, but King will also be looking for a contest right here, and they can really win the fight because it was an even fight. 2-for-2 is not a big advantage for any of the teams.
All right, well, we will see if King really want to pressure this. EDG, like we mentioned, is in a great position to take this. I'm not sure what's up with that ward positioning. I'm pretty sure that's a ward glitch where the pink ward can't see the other one. If it's not, then they just haven't taken it down yet. We'll see once the stream unpauses itself, which appears to be having quite a few sizable issues. See if we can find out something. And yeah, it is a little bit of a glitched ward, not able to see the other pink ward that EDG put down.
So EDG have a little bit of vision advantage right here, and by a little bit I mean actually a lot. Right now they clear out every single ward that King could have had right there around the Dragon Pit, and this might be an easy attempt at the objective for EDG.
Yeah, EDG should be able to take this down, at least once their champions start moving again. And 3 to 5 kill count right now is still gold, going further and further. Kills and turrets and dragons and just about everything going in favor of Edward Gaming.
No, and well, King actually might be looking for a little bit of a fight, but might be tough for them.
Flash in, the death sentence will land onto Braum. Big dive in by Koro. He's got so much AoE, but if you look at the kite backwards from King, the anti-climax is killing me, man. As soon as the thing, stream starts working again, we'll see if they are able to get out of there. You just powering on in forward there. Not able to find any kills yet. Good sweet lord, just somebody die. Command Shockwave will lock up you and Clear Love. Okay, well, we'll see who dies off the back of this. A nice Glacial Fissure coming out of Braum. JS still has to be very careful, but once again, nobody dies. That is incredible to see so much aggression, so much poke. The kite backwards from King. Good enough to stay alive, but not good enough to turn back any kills.
Yeah, and I actually didn't really believe that King can get any kills off of this fight, and it didn't happen. But EDG, actually, that was a little bit sloppy. They got caught with this massive shockwave from JS. So if he manages to pull off such shockwaves every single time in a fight, King might actually have a good time at coming back, but still there's a lot of time left until that happens.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes into the game, and keep in mind, this is very, very different from the place we were at 20 minutes into game number 1. Name specifically is just miles ahead, and while he may have now dropped down in the CS versus No Heart, he's right where he needs to be. Hasn't been shut down. He's actually deathless right now, which is a great place to have your Kog'Maw, and was definitely not a place that Kog'Maw occupied for very long in game 1.
Yeah, definitely. And in the previous best of 3 too, because we have seen a Kog'Maw in the middle lane that wasn't really doing too well. And Name finally coming back with power. And yeah, that might be the case. As I said, the previous game might have been just to scout out how King is doing actually as a team. And now they actually are trying to win this one 100%.
I'm not sure if they were trying to win game number 100% or not. I mean, it certainly seemed like they were, and I'm not going to doubt their commit, how much they were committed to winning. But it was just so difficult after losing lane phase so hard, just really not having a lot of presence out on the map. It's like, I don't know, the middle of summer. It's about as opposite as Christmas as you can get. No presents anywhere in sight. King now with a fully stacked up Rengar. He had just used his ultimate, so unable to find an initiation attempt. And this is 2 Rengar games in a row, one for both teams, where he just really has not been able to find that many ultimates. He's building max CDR, so he's looking for as many of them as he can possibly find, but they're just not effective. He's not using them. He's just getting into position and not going in. Koro once again back on the split push, taking down tower number 3 for EDG.
Yeah, and EDG are taking these towers without any kind of punishment, and there's not much that King can do to stop them from taking the turrets. And that is the big difference between this game and the previous one, because King, they were in the driver's seat, but they didn't really bring too many turrets down, and EDG, as soon as they get any kind of advantage, 3-0 in turrets, and that completely destroys King, because they cannot venture out of their base.
Yeah, King definitely feeling the struggle. They have managed to keep the deaths actually very, very low, but they're just falling slower and more slowly behind. Now, death sentence misses, and the red buff does go over to Corki, so a good job there by King to secure their buff and not let that one get taken away. They're still staying in this game, and I feel like the roles are exactly swapped, like EDG winning the lane phase, but neither team really taking a solid advantage or disadvantage across the map.
Yeah, but it's still just the 20th minute in the game, so Kog'Maw is gonna get even stronger and stronger. Korowan and the Shyvana most probably gonna get even tankier, so EDG are just waiting for the power spike for Kog'Maw to come in, but they already do have this RE and Lee Sin, so it's pretty much a good team comp for every stage of the game for them. And on the other hand, King, they didn't get anything in the early stages, so they are still pretty far behind in terms of damage.
And that is actually a hallmark of a lot of LSPL teams. They'll rely on winning the early game and then snowballing that lead into a lead to carry them to victory. And that's kind of what King did. The problem is that there's not a lot of LSPL teams that can win the early game versus LPL teams. And, well, King, to their credit, did make that happen in game 1. Now, of course, they also have the disadvantage now of having lost the early game and still looking for some way back in this. They do have a 50 CS lead mid lane. That's pretty impressive. And I think that they have Deathless AD carry who's still been able to keep up in farm with Name, a little bit of a CS lead there, but the carries ahead, it's all about the side lanes. Can they do what they need to? An immediate jump in, look at that shockwave! Holy cow, where did that damage come from? King start the fight off with an incredible wombo combo, but it's just not enough. They trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, and only the support falls on the side of Edward Gaming. This is not too much, but that shockwave.
Holy cow, what was that? 24 minutes all for that one moment. And King, they come out with the best they got, and the best it is 1 for 1.
And EDG will be going for the dragon on top of this fight, so, well, King are trying, but it's not enough. Simply not enough. And EDG, they do have the advantage already, and they are such an experienced team that they will never give this one up.
Well, okay, keep in mind, they gave up a big advantage that they got back after winning a Baron fight in game 1. But that
still wasn't an advantage.
It's true. It was a pretty weird situation to be in. So do have to be very careful. King are looking to use this lack of a dragon to at least put pressure on the mid lane and clear out wards from around Baron Nashor. And they have done that successfully. So will this be their first turret of the game? They're stacking up for it, but Name is getting into a good position. Barrel goes out and it'll put a slow onto you. Death Sentence will miss. And that's the first dragon. Or the first... That's not a dragon, it's a turret. Looks like a dragon. No, I'm just kidding. Taken down. First dragon. I did it again. Oh my gosh. I'm going to hand this one over to Nero so he can tell me what's turrets and what's dragons. Because apparently they're pretty similar. Well, there's a dragon. Koro's going to jump in over the wall right into 3 people, but he's so tanky, you just can't give him enough credit for knowing how far to go in. Put a lot of pressure, forced you back to base. Now all of King are going to be forced to back out as a little bit of a stop on the recall there for No Heart. EDG, now it's their turn to put some pressure on to Baron Nashor and see if they can catch anybody out.
Yeah, they will be putting up a little bit of vision, but no, they will not catch anyone out. They will just fall back, and the game is still gonna be a little bit passive. That's the feeling that I got. But actually, coming back to the previous fight, it really was a 1-for-1, just a 1-for-1, and King just got a kill on the support of their enemy teams, but they got a turret on top of that. So that actually gives them something, that gives them some real advantage that they might come out on top of somewhere in the time.
I want to see another one of those sick wombo combos. The team comp for King, I mean, that's pretty much, it's not like there's a whole lot of finesse involved. Like, that's what they do. They put the ball on Rengar, he jumps into the enemy team, and they just explode. The only problem is with that fight that they didn't explode. Like, they lost their support, oh no, but they traded their jungler away. And even if you have a fight that trades that way around Baron or around some other objective that EDG are going to group up on, if you lose your jungler by setting the Rengar jumping in to start the fight, then you can't even contest the objective off the back of that anyway, even if you win the fight. So if you win the fight, you're going to have to win it hard, similar to the way that Vi treats walls. But King starting to put that aggressive pressure forward. Sending up Lonely, they land the snares onto you to keep him slowed out there, starting to regain some vision control, but still have a very long way to go.
Alright, so actually look at JS's CS. He's doing quite well right there in the middle lane, and the shockwaves are already big, so if he can land a 3-man-1 in a team fight, that might actually be quite big. And wow, no heart.
No Heart just kind of, oh, he snipes it away. Yeah, I think you're a little bit ahead of me on that one. Able to grab that red buff right out of the hands of Koro. Koro kind of left with some pie in his face, but oh no, TS is not where he needs to be. Walks right into you and just gets exploded. A death sentence lands onto Corki, and No Heart Well, he's not alive there, so no heart is beating anymore. 3 for 0 off of horrible pathing out of the jungle. King losing it big, and EDG heading to Baron.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate. Just as I said that JS might be a big impact on another fight, he just goes down without doing anything. And then no heart turns into a no life and no red buff, unfortunately.
Okay, well, the Lagarino continues here as EDG should be able to find one of the easiest Barons of their lives here, taking it away. Keep in mind, this is EDG's first Demacia Cup series, so nice to see that even though they're maybe a little bit new to the tournament, they are still looking very strong here, at least in game number 2. They will come away with the 28-minute Baron, and should be able to make it back to base once they start moving. It looks like they're good. Koro's just going to go around and clearing out wards.
Yeah, so actually talking about Koro, he is also ahead in CS in the top lane, but a Shyvana being 40 CS ahead in the top lane is not as massive as an Orianna being 60 CS ahead in the middle lane. She deals a little bit more damage, but still JS needs to stay a little bit safer in the team fights to be actually able to pull the damage off.
Yep, and we're still looking, waiting around to see whether or not this Orianna combo is kind of what the doctor ordered. Because, to be honest, the thing that confuses me most is, like when you come up with a team comp that, all right, we send the Orianna Shockwave in, we get the Wombo combo off, that's what it does. When that doesn't do enough, like, what do you do to compensate for that? And I think King have kind of found an answer with, like, maybe follow-up from Corki, who's actually pretty strong. But, I don't know, there's just so many more advanced options for EDG, especially with you starting to return to his aggressive playstyle, which is something that EDG have used to come back in so many games.
Okay, so 5 kills advantage in favor of EDG right now. It's not the biggest advantage we have seen, but 10k is already a lot. And actually, they will be sieging this middle lane turret, and it is almost down already.
Yeah, we are going to see a little bit of stream disruption as King will retreat from their second-tier mid-lane turret. They just don't have the presence there in time. The Rengar needs to go ahead, stealth up, and go in on this one. There's the ult from you, and no, Braum's going to go down here. No way! He survives. How did that even happen? But, all right, well, it's going to be a big survival there for Lei. He will make it out alive, but Koro 1 might actually be in a little bit of a rough spot here, although I don't think anybody in too rough a spot for EDG. Koro going to take a little bit of damage, but with the turret falling down, no, King are in a horrible spot. They do get a nice shockwave into explosive cast, but it's just too much magic damage, not enough physical. The resistances are there, and the tankiness will keep King, or will keep Edward Gaming alive for now. The death sentence onto the Corki. No heart, please. I'm not going to have a heart after this game. King are not playing out this the ending to the game very well. Death sentence is landing on the carries. Well, stream will lag out just a little bit before we hop back into what should be an EDG win. At least that's the way it's looking right now.
I don't really think that it's going to be a win as of yet, but they definitely will get a big chunk of King's base. And actually EDG 11-4 in their favor right now. They got some easy kills in the base of King, so well, they cannot really do anything against them. And this is such a different game from what we have seen in the previous one. Where is this King's early pressure, early aggression? It just disappeared, and now they are struggling so much.
Man, this is a very interesting game starting to shape up here. The scaling should start to kick in for EDG, and that means that they'll have just way too much damage. They can stomp down the rest of the game. The big problems though. Wait. Oh, okay, that's the surrender. I was like, why on earth did Braum use his ultimate there? So somewhat anticlimactic, but an EDG win in game number 2, 4-11. Nice to see them coming back. Very strong form. Much different performance in the jungle from Clear Love. 307 as opposed to almost the reverse score in game number 1. So congratulations to EDG. Edward Gaming come up with a win, and we'll tie the series at 1-1. And that means we are going to head to our last commercial break of the night. As Edward Gaming tie this series, it'll be coming down to a game number 3. be the deciding game 3 between Edward Gaming and King, coming your way in just a few minutes. So stick around, coming back in about 10 minutes, and we'll be back with the last game of the night.
粗略计算，平均一局30分钟。《还珠格格》第2部48集，每集47分钟，一共2256分钟，可以播175436次《还珠格格》。一天播3集，可以播放46782个暑假。根据一局10个人的游戏规则计算，平均每天有2000万人在 LOL。2012年，中国有2000万掏空法；2011年，巴西人口统计数据接近2000万人。所谓人红是非多，拥有能俘获妹子的卖萌外表、不错的移动速度以及对 ADC 的限制能力等等，使得 Timo 在众多英雄当中嘲讽数值竟然高达好几千万。据统计，每天被召唤师选中2113582次，而每天的死亡数高达1439441次。呵呵呵，卖萌的都要死啊！一年下来 ，Timo 要死525亿5798万9215次，相当于地球毁灭8次牺牲的人口数量。以 Timo 一年的死亡数来看，各位看官是不是就觉得英雄联盟每年的死亡人数是世界之最啊？十不杀一人，千里不留行，事了非至，深藏身于民。这是李太白大爷对于武林高手的描述。英雄联盟里也会出现这样的高手。当他们杀死敌方英雄达到8日，并且期间没有死亡，系统会赠予荣誉称号超神 Legendary。然而，想要超神单打独斗肯定是行不通的。这个时候你需要一个友。根据资料记载，每日约有1097435局出现传说中的草丛友，占每日总局数的12.2%。话说，一个好汉3个帮，1个篱笆3个桩，游戏设计师们是多么希望营造这一种团结一致、积极向上的。
That we could have seen a couple of weeks ago in the Demacia Cup. That looked extremely impressive.
Yeah, it's true. If you guys missed Snake's games from Demacia Cup, I think 3 weeks ago, like, holy cow, those guys are so fun to watch. And they're fun and they win a lot of their games. I think they have like a 21-7 record in LSPL. Of course, that is mostly just because the bottom teams in LSPL are fantastically good at giving them all of those win points. Sitting at things like 3-25, 9-17, like big loss scores like that. But up at the top, Snake, Energy Pacemaker, and King are your top 3, no matter how you want to look at it. So hopping into game number 2, the English coverage of the Demacia Cup here on Twitch TV. I'm Rapid, I'm here with Nero. We're taking you into King, coming out on the blue side versus Edward Gaming in the red.
All right, so we are looking out for the early pressure once again from King, because that's where EDG is not really doing too well, and that's where King can come out on top. Because going up against such an experienced team, King is really going to have a hard time if they want to go for the teamfight versus teamfight comp. That might be really hard to pull off.
King will not be able to sweep that early ward because both teams started full warding trinkets, and that is just the same early aggressive pressure that King had in game number 1. They just straight up walk into your enemy jungle, drop 3 ward.
Is there, but it's not as immediate as the stun from Alistar. So they're gonna have a little bit of a waste time, but still they might really win this fight in the bots. So King definitely looking for things to happen in the bottom lane.
I'm really glad we have standard lanes, or at least that's the way that the Chinese meta is shifting back away from the 4v0 or the 2v1 starts that used to be very common about 2 or 3 months ago. So still having to deal with a few minor lag issues. See if we can get the buffer running one moment. Still trying to get this game back underway. Apologies for the lag. Like I said, apparently things are just dying all over the place. So looks like it's back. Success. I did that words, and then they'll back out. Actually, I think this time they only dropped 2. Nope. They had 3 wards. Now they just ward up the top jungle, and then they'll back out. And what this does for King early on is it says, all right, there's 1/4 of the jungle you just can't be in. So if we walk to the other one, then we at least know your jungle path off of our first buff, based on where they, what side they see you on. So this is a really big thing for King, because it will allow them to. All right, so momentary lag. Looks like it's better now. 121, 122, still in there. So King ward up the jungle. They know where the starts are going to be, and now all they have to do is find EDG before the game starts. And looks like JS has already done that in the mid lane by scouting out you and Clearlove.
Okay, so still No big things happening right here.
Oh, but look at this. It's kind of the yin-yang start with EDG going for the late invade on King's red buff because that's the side that they warded up. And King are actually going to go for a slightly laggy invade onto the blue buff. Apologies for some of the desyncing issues. Should be able to get this running in just a second. And there we go. 159-2.
Okay, so, well, I'm still just looking at this Name Kog'Maw. If he gets shut down in the lane once again, of course, there's Braum, so the stun